So, welcome back for part two of Trading View. So we just looked at um, this, which is the advanced window, where just when you want to see some more advanced stuff in regards to the instrument that you're looking at. So, for instance, if you are looking at a Euro USD, so if you want to see some more, some more details, some more data about that, this is you just click on it, and that data will appear. And of course, there are people who prefer not to see it. For example, I don't. I actually it's of no use to me. All right, I don't really pay much attention to it, so I'll just can just choose to minimize it. All right, you can just choose to minimize it. In the grand scheme of things, I honestly don't think that you're gonna need it as much, but of course there are those people who need it. That is where you can access it. So I just told you, just ignore this section. But the one bit that I will ask you to pay so much attention to is the time zone. So make sure that this is set to your time zone. If you want to change the time, this is where you do it. All right, so for example, personally, I love using the New York time, and as you can see, this is actually the time when New York is opening, because it's 8:19 New York. So if you want to view that, if you want to change that, this is where you actually change it. All right, so that is it. But right now is set to my time, which is Nairobi time, and that is UTC +3. And if you want to change again, just click on it and then just scroll until you find your time zone. Okay, so that is the one bit that I think is important in this section. The other things are not really that important. So, but if you want to connect to your broker, so for example, I use Pepperstone. This is where you connect that, and you can just come here and click to see all the brokers. So you can just choose Pepperstone or whatever broker that is using TradingView, right? So for demonstration purposes, because we're gonna be placing some trades, I'll highly suggest that you connect with paper trading. Paper trading is another fancy word for demo trading. Okay, paper trading is another fancy word for demo trading, and I don't know whether you can actually um, reset this balance. I don't know. I've never looked at it, uh, but uh, but I will definitely. So once you connect your paper trading, this is where you see your positions, this is where you see your orders, this is where you see your history, and all of that Okay, and I think that is all that you need for those sections. Now the green, as you can see, there's a green dot. It just means that your broker is connected. All right, your broker is connected. So for example, let me just show you an example. With me right now, you can see that we are not connected as of yet, because I think you have to log in manually. All right, I think you have to log in manually each and every time, especially let's say you've been disconnected from the internet. You just have to connect your trading or your broker again manually. So that is it for that section. So let's go to the juicy stuff, because I think the tools are the juicy stuff. So with the tools, first of all, let me just say these are the tools that we're gonna be using. a lot of the times. So just use the cross, add it to your favorite. Okay, the cross. Once that is done, that is the only tool that we are interested in. The dot, so the difference between the cross and the dot, you can see on your screen. Once I choose the cross, what appears is the cross. Okay, oh, the cursor is the cross. The cursor is this moving thing. Yeah, that is your cursor. I prefer using the dot for precision. Sorry, the cross for precision. If you prefer the dot, well and good. If you prefer the arrow, well and good. And you can see the arrow doesn't have that cross. What is it called? The crosshairs. Yeah, it doesn't have that. Once you choose the eraser is just to erase everything, or just to erase what you have drawn. Okay, and then the magic. This is just an addition. I don't know what it's supposed to do. Um, I've never actually used it before, and it's some pretty cool things. Yeah, I love it. You can see that I've never. This is just a new addition. I've never used it, but in our case, we're gonna use the cross alone. All right, that is what we are interested in. So after that, after your cursors, we have the lines. Pay attention. We will be using the trend line most of the times. All right. In fact, 90% of the times we are using the trend line. So just add it to your favorite. After that, your horizontal um, and the parallel channel. Okay. So those are the tools in the lines sections that we're going to be using. Okay. Um, Guns and the Fibonacci tools, we're going to be using the fib retracement, add it to your favorite, the fib extension. That is the two tools in that category that we're going to be using. After that, skip the patterns. We're not going to be using any patterns. After that, let's come to the projections. We're going to be using the long position and the short position and the price range. Okay. All right. So after that, the brushes, we're going to be using the arrow marker, the arrow, the rectangle, the path tool, add your circle, add the curve, and the double curve. After that, just go in and add the text. Don't think that these are the necessary. After that, just skip. Yeah, and that is it. So these are the tools that we are going to be using to draw the various things that you see people drawing on their charts. So let's just go one by one. So using a trend line. So a trend line, we just need to mark our structures. Okay, just need to mark our structures. So you see, with the trend line, if you want your trend line to snap to a point, so for example, I want to draw the trend line below these or in that line, in this point, or at this point. So drawing it like that, let me just draw it again. So unaona, like you can see that it's clearly not that accurate, it's clearly not that straight. So to help you draw straight lines, you just hold shift. As you choose your tool, hold shift, and then draw. Okay, you see that is a perfect straight line. Now if you want that line to snap to a point, you just click on the magnet. Okay, and choose either the weak magnet or the strong magnet. Once you choose the strong magnet, every time you see, like it is snapping to these price points or the candles, the price points of a candle, and it can either snap to the highest point, the lowest point, or the opening and the closing of that candle. Okay, so this helps you to draw at the exact price point of that candle, or the exact price point that you want to draw. Say for instance, I want to draw at the exact price point or these of this candle. I just activate my magnet and then hold shift. That will snap to to the exact price this candle was at. Okay, or the exact the lowest price point of that candle. So again, using the magnet is key. It's very, very important, and I would highly recommend that you know you activate it. So that is the trend line. If you want to draw the horizontal line again, if you don't like the uh, if you don't like your tool to snap to a point, you can just deactivate the magnet and then you can comfortably draw wherever you want. But if you want it to snap to a point, just click on the magnet and then click on your tool and then the magnet, and then it will just snap to the exact price point that you want to draw. All right, again with the parallel, this is how you do it. With the parallel, it may be difficult. um, you just click on it, hold shift to where you want to draw it, and then drop it, drop the shift, and then you can just draw it like that. Okay, so if you want to remove the drawings, or if you don't want to see the drawings, or if you want to hide the drawings that you drew, you can just click on that. Okay, you can just click on that. So that is the parallel channel. And the parallel channel, I know that that is a mouthful. Parallel channel, it just helps us with the drawing. If you don't want it to snap, most of the times I don't like the parallel snapping. It just helps us to see the channel, or just basically to see the channel that price has followed. Okay, and for those who are a bit advanced, or for those who have started trading, you know that price moves in waves, and the channel will help you to mark the exact point where those waves are. So the fib retracement, this is another tool. um, of course, yours will not appear like this. Yours will be a bit fancy. Let's just activate that. um, let's just activate that. Apply defaults. So the default, this is what you're gonna see, a very fancy tool. But if you're like me and you don't like fancy things, you can just you can just change these. And the way you do that, just come to the settings, and then and then if you don't like the background, so this is just an overview, by the way. This is just an overview. I want you to, every tool that I have showed you here, just click on it, explore it. Okay, so if for example you're looking at the trend line, once you draw it, these are the settings of that trend line. And by the way, by default, they will not appear the way mine are appearing. By default, they will look something different, but the default color is that blue. So once you click, so for example, if I click on the trend line like that, these are the settings of that trend line. You can just come there. You can activate so many things. You can activate so many things. You can activate the angles. You can activate the changes in pips. You can activate the bar range. All of that information. Okay, you can activate that. If you want a text to appear, you can just click on there, and then a text will appear. You can see, as you can see, my L's are appearing, my P's are appearing on top. If you don't like that, if you want um, the text to appear in the middle. You can just do that if you want the text to appear in the middle, but on the right. You can do that if you want it on the left. So many uh, there are so many things that you can do with your tools. And of course, if you like to save that as a template, you can just save it as like that, and we can just call it LLL. So every time I want to draw something, you can just come there, and you can see the one that we have saved. It's the one that has appeared right there. Okay. So that is the trend line, the fib extension. I'll explain that once we start with the course. And then we have the projection tools. This is where you will get your risk to reward ratios. And that is for the long position or the buying position. And then the selling position. This is where you get your projections. If you want to measure something with Tradingview, you can actually either use the ruler, which is used to measure, or you can use the price range. And the price range just gives us the measurement in pips. Okay, the measurement in pips. Again, ignore this because this is just to illustrate, to help us illustrate. But more of that once we start with the actual course, once we start with the actual what is it called? Once we start with the charting work, we're gonna be using these arrows. We're gonna be the arrow markers. Again, the rectangle, you just need to measure. Sorry, not to measure, but to draw your. By default, it doesn't appear like that. These are just my settings. So by default, that is how it will appear. So when the rectangle just highlights or shows us our main points of interest, but more of that later. So the path tool, this is just to show us. I mainly use it to show the direction that I think this asset will move in. All right. Um, the circles, all of these, just ignore that. More of that will come later. So those are the tools that we're gonna be using a lot of the times. Yeah. Now, if you don't want, if you don't like, if you don't want, if one of the ways to remove these tools, you can just click on there and remove all the drawings. But if you want to remove a specific drawing, let's say I don't like that, you can either click it and click on your backspace. The way you just delete normal stuff, you can just click it and go there. Okay, remove the settings. Remember I told you the settings for each tool. Once you click on that tool, or once you click on that drawing, the settings will appear, and depending on where you want this box to be, mine is at the top or wherever, you can just move it wherever you want, or you can just place it right there. If you don't like it, you can just remove it. Okay, so the other tab that I never showed you would be this object tree. This is where you have all your tools, all your drawings, everything that is happening on this chart, everything that you have done on your chart will appear on your object tree. All right, will appear on your object tree. And by the way, all of these, to highlight or to pick all of them, you can just either click Control A on your Windows whatever, but I think that has not been activated. But you can just click on it, click on the first part, click on the first tool, and then hold Shift and click on the last. It will highlight all of the all of the all of the objects, okay, or all of the tools. And that brings us to the end of our tools tutorial. I think once we start the chat work, I think we'll get a bit more technical with these tools, and you will understand what each tool is meant for. So until next time, bye bye.